Just 1 week to go now until the new Premier League campaign begins. Anticipation is building at Anfield as Andoni Iraola's Reds play their final pre-season friendly. It is the second meeting of the day, with Serie A side Como that after a goalless draw between the two teams earlier on at the AXA Training Centre. It is a 6 o'clock kickoff UK time, and you can watch the whole game live online on the club app too, and via connected TV with All Red Video, which is currently running a 2-week free trial, and also of course on LFC TV. And if you are not already subscribed, then you can find details of how to sign up online right now at video.liverpoolfc.com. But first, it is a warm welcome pitch side to Phil Thompson and Jason McAteer for the final one before things get very serious. Tom, are you excited about the start of the new campaign?
I think you always are as Liverpool fans, just going into it straight away. We can win the league. Done it forever and a day. 30 years we went with not winning the league, but for every season at the opener you felt that it could be our year. So it's no different this time, but I am looking forward to the new manager, new staff. So it's got a really good feel about them. The pre-season, there's been some good results, some not so good results, but that's pre-season.
Last competitive action today, Jace. Of course, he's got another week on the training ground with them, but what are you hoping to see in this game today ahead of Newcastle?
You're right. I think it's obviously the final pre-season game. You'd like to iron out a few of the problems that we've seen, certainly against Leeds and Monaco, where we've taken 2-goal leads and conceded and ended up losing both games. Last week, fair to say, was disappointing. Iraola, the new manager, it's his first game at Anfield. He would have liked to have got that win. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. First off, real good signs. You know, there was some good combinations with some players. Ekatike. Defensively, we looked okay, probably for about 35 minutes. Then we conceded. Second half was a pretty poor performance, to be honest. But sometimes in pre-season, you don't want it all to go well. You need a few problems that you could, work on the training ground. And you're right, he gets another week now to iron them problems out. And hopefully with renewed optimism, we go into the season hoping that we can do something.
The daft thing about it, Chase, isn't it? He's going to learn more with his defeats, because you have the wins and everybody feels good. No, it's all gone well. Might not have gone as smooth as you would have liked it, but you won the game, so you feel a little bit more confident, you feel a bit more secure. But when you get beat, like the Leeds game, 2-0 up, absolutely playing them off the park, but then it goes, and then 2-0 up, losing the goal just be half-time. You are going to learn more. We did interview in Chicago, Dominic after the game, and it was one of the things we probably learn more about the defeats than you do about the wins.
Okay, well, without further ado, let's have a look at the starting 11 Andoni Iraola has chosen for this match here at Anfield. As I say, it is the second game of the day against Como, and this is how the Reds will line up this afternoon. It's Alisson in goal, Jeremy Frimpong at right back, and it's a debut this evening here at Anfield for Jeremy Jacquet at the heart of the defence alongside Virgil van Dijk, and Milos Kerkez takes up the left-back spot. Dominic Szoboszlai and Ryan Gravenberch sit just in front of the back line. Ahead of them, it's Rio Engamoa on the right-hand side. Florian Wirtz and Cody Gakpo, and Alexander Isak leads the line. So it's 3 changes from the team that played Monaco last week. In come Jacquet, Kerkez and Engamoa. Out go Ndukwe, Kostas Tsimikas and Luis Kumas. Also on the bench as well, you will see Ronald Araújo. You should imagine we will see him at some point this afternoon. Lads, your thoughts on that lineup? You would imagine much of that is relatively similar to what we will see next weekend, Jace.
Yeah, usually the final game of pre-season is a good indication of what we're going to see next week. First game of the season, you want them relationships being forged, you want a bit of continuity. So certainly in my case, I don't know what it was like in Tomo's day, but usually the last game of pre-season was the team that tended to start the first game of the season. So looking at that team, really, really strong. I can't see much being different next week. Maybe 1, maybe 2 changes, but that is a really good lineup.
It is a good lineup, but you look at the bench, there's not a lot on that bench. There's a few injuries. Hopefully they'll sort of right themselves before next week. They're only niggles, but that would be the only worrying thing. And this time last year, we weren't getting enough minutes under our belt to go and start the season. The Community Shield, that game as well as the pre-season game before it, we got to an hour and we were shot. We need to build up, so this team, this starting 11 has to go, I believe, 75 or 80 minutes in the legs.
Yeah, we're seeing the... Go on, James.
Sorry, the biggest concern for me through pre-season, and you can argue, the changes last week, the changes against Leeds, it just is an indication, I think, of the strength in depth. And Tomo's right, when you look at that bench, it's not a strong bench. It's not littered with players that you would think are going to come on and change things. So that is the cause for concern. Listen, the window's still open, and we know Liverpool, as most clubs in the Premier League, are still active in the transfer market. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's one or two more additions before the window closes. We'll have to wait and see. Right now, though, at the minute, what we're seeing today, starting today, is Liverpool's strongest team.
There's a few players who've played in the earlier game who you would think would be on, Elliott and Tsimikas, things like that. Curtis Jones, I don't know how bad Curtis is, but you'd like to think it would be bolstered, but is that still going to be strong enough for us to compete in those early stages of the Premier League?
I want to get your thoughts, Tomo, on the centre-back situation, because it is a debut for Jeremy Jacquet today. We've not seen him at all yet. They've been very cautious, understandably, because of injuries that he's suffered and getting him back to full fitness. You would think as well we'll see Ronald Araújo at some point this afternoon, but Andoni Iraola, how they perform today will probably decide what he goes with next week.
Yeah, it says you look at Jacquet, we've not seen yet. So you would like to think he will have 45 minutes in his legs. I've just been saying about 75 or 80 minutes. They're the ones who've already played their minutes, if you want. But then, yes, Araújo, if he comes on, obviously you'd like to think that he's got 45 minutes in his legs. And it'll be good to judge, maybe, for everybody in here, but certainly the manager and his coaching staff, which one's going to be ready for next week.
It is the final pre-season game. There was, of course, another one at the end of last week at Monaco. Let's have a look at the first half of this, Chase, especially, was what we want to see more of. The second half we won't talk about too much, but lots of positives in the opening 45, creating a lot of chances, and if they can extend that across a full game, that is the kind of performance we need in the Premier League.
Yeah, listen, the new managers come with high expectations about the way he plays. It's a bit more familiar to what we've seen under Jurgen Klopp, got away from a bit more pragmatic style we've seen with Arne Slot, and I think last week obviously gave us the first opportunity, being a home game, for all the fans to see and a lot of people to see how that was going to play out. And to be honest, the first 35 minutes, 40 minutes, I was impressed. I thought there was a real energy about Liverpool's play. I felt there was a freedom to the way they played. I thought the press was really good. I thought there was understanding between the likes of Wirtz and Isak. Szoboszlai was sort of dictating play. And they made Monaco look very, very average. They went 2-0 up, some really good play, got rewarded for it. And then all of a sudden, and I'd have to say it was a sloppy bit of defending from Virgil, maybe a little bit rusty after his break from the World Cup, just steps across, concedes the penalty, and Monaco get back into it. Obviously then there's a wholesale changes second half, and Liverpool never really got up to speed. They were sloppy at times. They let Monaco back into the game, and then they get punished from a set piece, which shouldn't really happen. I mean, it was just a ball that was put into an area that was attacked and conceded. That is a cause for concern. But I agree with Tomo. Sometimes you need that in pre-season. Listen, I'd rather happen that now than next week against Newcastle.
Exactly,
so sometimes you need these things to happen. But it was disappointing we lost.
It doesn't matter whichever games that you get. 2-0 scoreline is awful. That game,
it is horrible.
That game on the pre-season tour, we were 2-0 up. They didn't come out. Leeds didn't come out. Instead of 15 minutes, they had an extra 8 minutes. Our boys were kicking it about as though it was a Sunday League game on the pitch. So besides being 2-0 up, the attitude was gone. It was like as though and it can be so dangerous. And the same again, Virgil gets a little bit sloppy just before half-time. So yes, it's like that, but it's good for the manager. We've got to be better game management. Although it's pre-season, we've got to make sure we are tight, we are secure at certain moments in games. And I think it is better that you lose it. Rather than win every game, in pre-season that you do have a couple of hiccups.
And you can take the lessons from those
Absolutely.
hiccups.
Yeah.
You touched on the relationship, the developing relationship really between Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak, and it's strange to say it's developing because obviously both of them have been at the club for a season, but mitigating circumstances hugely, Jason, meant that they didn't have hardly any game time together last season, and even in pre-season already you've seen the flashes of that relationship really gelling.
Yeah, I think for different reasons, both players were underwhelming last season. You can throw injury in the mix for Alexander Isak, plus everything that went on before with the transfer. Then he just couldn't get back into the team, and then he did, and then he got injured again. Obviously pre-season didn't help the lack of it. And then we just didn't really see anything of him really, of the potential he showed at Newcastle, and that's what was disappointing. Ekitike then came to the fore and did really, really well, become a fan's favourite and a quick icon here. But yeah, we expected a lot more, didn't we? He goes away to the World Cup. That was really good for him to get minutes under his belt, to experience that different environment, big stage. I think he scored in the World Cup. I'm not sure, but he done okay. His fitness kind of played a problem in the latter stages of the group, but he gets back. He does a full pre-season. For Wirtz, I just felt he was played out of position. I felt he was uncomfortable at times. I think the price tag and the expectation everybody had from what they've seen, I thought carried its weight on him, and I don't think he showed us his true potential. So now he's settled at the club, he's playing in a position he favours. He's starting last week. I don't know what time, because someone's seen a lot more in pre-season because he went away with them, but it looked like he was more comfortable. It looked like he was enjoying himself last week for the half an hour.
In one of the games in America, you could see them trying to link up, trying things, little flicks round the corner, as though they've worked on it in training. They're playing, Wirtz in just behind, got to get the ball into feet. If you lose it 30 yards from their goal, you shouldn't be conceding a goal. Yeah. So try these things out. So you could see that. The same goes, I'll flip it back to Xhaka and Van Dijk getting an understanding. But certainly Wirtz, he's going to be the one where we want to work the magic, to see it happening more often. And the same with Isak, him looking a lot sharper. And I'm glad he came back when he did for his pre-season, because him not having it last year cost us greatly and cost him.
Absolutely, thanks both. We're going to grab a word with the boss now. Andoni Iraola's been speaking with Peter McDowell.
Boss, the final competitive minutes before it gets underway for real. What are you asking of the team today?
I think it's an important game for us. It's still pre-season, but it's getting closer. So I think we need to show a good team, close to the team that we want to start the season. I like the game we played in the morning. I think the organisation, the structure was good, and I hope we can even do it better this afternoon.
And Jeremy Xhaka starts as well, which will come as good news for everybody, more so you.
Yes, Jeremy has been training with us. I think we've been taking care of him. We decided today to start him. Probably he will play 45, and I think he's training well. So I hope also he has a good debut, his first game, and it's important. No, he can feel also Anfield, he can feel the team, and I hope he does well.
And Araújo as well, is there a similar situation for him that you're hoping to give him some significant minutes?
Yes. The plan is if we can go half and half with them. I think he's just arrived, has been training very well this week, and I think he's ready to go, so I would like to see them both before we start the season, yes.
And just finally, you mentioned it before, the behind closed doors game this morning, there were good headlines from that as well. McAllister, Munoz playing, and Munoz will be in the squad for this one this afternoon.
Yes, Victor, with Trey, we wanted to give them some minutes, a lot of minutes. They are even in the squad today for the afternoon game, but I think for McAllister the same. I think we were in the morning. I like the game in terms of organisation, in terms of feeling the team solid. Probably we lack some brilliance in the last moments, in the last third up front, but overall I think it was a good game.
Good luck today.
Okay, thank you.
The thoughts of Andoni Iraola there. Now, as mentioned, it is the second friendly of the day against Como. No goals in that first meeting at the AXA earlier on, but here are some of the best bits.
That's a lovely range-finding ball from Alexis McAllister. Munoz, twisting, turning and crossing out of the reach of the arriving Trainioni. That's a lovely ball by McAllister. The Chiesa. Flag goes up against him. That was a decent ball, looking for him again. The goalkeeper doing well. Here's Wright. And in the end, Trainioni. And it might still come for Wright. And the goalkeeper did well. Modero kept his calm. Here come Liverpool again. Here's the chance. And it ends up wide. Tsimikas has made a charge. Gets there now. His cross is deep. Well, there's players tumbling all over around the penalty spot. Referee just waves them away. Nioni, there's the thread. Right! He was going there to win the game and was very close to doing so.
Yeah, the Kop and the entire stadium just broken out into a huge round of applause for Alisson as he comes out to warm up. There he is. In terms of that game that we just watched, Jace, maybe not an all-time classic, the friendly earlier on today at the Axel Training Centre, but it was only a 70-minute match as well, we should point out. But in terms of what the boss can take from that, his eyes really will be on this one, won't he?
Minutes, fitness. Listen, he's geared up today. This is about next week now, and he'll know who's going to play. I think that's a good indication of what he wants to play, the team that's playing now. For the lads this morning, I'm sure it was all about minutes, a little bit more game time, getting up to speed, match fitness, good quality. But unfortunately, when you play behind closed doors at the training ground, you lack a bit of atmosphere, and sometimes players are disappointed because they might have wanted to be in the squad this afternoon. They might have thought they might have been. So it's a little bit of a dead rubber, to be honest. It can play out like a 0-0 draw as well. But listen, players need minutes, they need sharpness. That's what the game was for.
Well, on that, on the positives, it was 59 minutes for Alexis McAllister, who I'm sure would have been involved in this game this evening, Tomo, had he not returned very late from the World Cup. But more minutes under the belt for him, and he had a really good World Cup individually as well, so can take confidence from that.
Well, that's it. You're seeing him very, very prominent for Argentina. He's becoming one of the mainstays. You think about him, without all the kicking and the biting and the punching and the shoving that Argentina do. He doesn't seem to have that in his makeup, but he's a good player. He's of good sort. Didn't have his best season last season, but so he'll be looking and maybe not got enough days under his belt to start the season. So he's going to be one of them. Don't be surprised to see him maybe not in the starting lineup next week, because he certainly hasn't had enough sort of days training, but he's certainly a great player. He's one of those who, as an ex-player, you look at him and you go, he's got so much quality in his play.
Just want to touch on the World Cup. I do feel for the manager coming in a World Cup year. It's very, very difficult because you don't manage the players in just pre-season. You have to manage them over the full season. You know, between now and next May, it's well, first of all, it's not fair, but it's not sustainable to keep playing them week in, week out after they've had a World Cup. It can take its toll. You know, it's 8 weeks. It was a prolonged tournament. It was a 48-team tournament. Argentina, the likes of Argentina, a lot of Liverpool players went deep into that tournament. You can't expect them to give 98 minutes 3 times a week. You just can't do it. For the manager, and that's why a bolstered squad is very important in a season like this. You've got to be able to have the option to chop and change and rest them at certain times. They just can't do it. I've played in 2 World Cups, and you know, I understand you don't want to be rested, but you have to be. Yeah. You've done it. You have to be rested. You know, you don't want to, but the manager has to take precautions. He does.
Let's speak about one of the standouts from this morning's game, which was, Tomo, Victor Munoz. We've got some of his best bits here from the 0-0 earlier on today. How impressed were you with his contribution this morning?
It's great to have a bit of pace. It's great having pace, but when you can go both ways, inside you can go outside, as you need to confuse the fullback that you're playing against, or even the supporting player that you keep going. If you can go as much on the outside, what is he going to do? He's going to tackle you, he's going to get a throw in that end, going to get a corner kick, get him and try and take him. But he's certainly got pace to burn. I think he's going to be, as we've seen with Rio, how much he gets people off the seats. If you can have somebody else who's going to challenge him, who's going to maybe say, hey, look, I deserve to be playing. This guy's going to give you the option. Because things like this, you go at people, you go forward. Instead of what we do, we get down there towards the edge of the box. We come back to the fullback, we come back to the centre-back, and then that is why the crowd get restless. You've got somebody who can take the ball from A to B to get to that byline. It gets people off the seat.
Yeah, go on, Jason.
He suits the way Araújo wants to play. And by the way, we've seen his best bits on the ball. With that kind of pace, you know, any team that wants to play out from the back, he can start the press really, really well. I was a little bit disappointed last week that he didn't actually start in that first half, because I would love to have seen him with the likes of Wirtz and Isak and the pace that Liverpool played at. Tomo's right. I think he actually recorded last season in La Liga the quickest sprint speed. He's got pace to burn, this kid. And he likes to get forward, he likes to make up territory, he likes to get round the outside, he'll come on the inside, he'll be direct. He's young, he's fit, he's perfect for what we need. He's just inexperienced in the Premier League and may lack a little bit of physicality. But apart from that, he's exciting.
OK, we're building up to kick-off here at Anfield. Just a reminder, you can watch this evening's game live online on the club app too, and via connected TV with All Red Video, which is currently running a free trial for 2 weeks, and it is also, of course, live on LFC TV. For anyone who is not already a subscriber, you can sign up right now at video.liverpoolfc.com. OK, let's grab a word with our match commentary team now. Neil Mellor is up on the gantry alongside John Bradley.
Yes, thanks, Becky. This is a game that we're really looking forward to. I think if you went back a few years and said that Liverpool were taking on FC Como, they would look at it and say, oh, well, who are Como? What about them? But it's one of the great stories of, I think, not just European football, but world football over the last few years. The job that Cesc Fabregas has done as the coach, taking them right up the Serie A table. Champions League football awaits them this season as well. And they are the new big boys of Italian football, and they represent, Neil Mellor, a big test for Liverpool this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, obviously this is Game 5 and Game 6 of Liverpool's pre-season. We've seen already earlier on this morning, this afternoon, a game already against them. Majority of the squad players, but this will be the toughest test Liverpool face this pre-season. Played a couple of Premier League sides already, Championship team, Monaco as well, who aren't in the Champions League this season. But a bit unknown, I have to say. I don't follow Italian football. You know, you look at the league table and you see that they finished above AC Milan, they finished above Juventus. You look at, well, what's been good about them? And you think, okay, defensively, the best side in Serie A. So you're thinking today we're going to have to really work hard to create opportunities. And they score goals as well, so they've had a real good combination. Obviously, Cesc Fabregas, the fact he had such a good playing career, it's his first job in charge. So interesting to see that these are potential opposition we may face this year when that Champions League draw is made.
It is also worth pointing out as well, as part of the story around Como, they are the richest team in Italy now. They've got huge wealth behind them. Thierry Henry is part of the ownership group. Fabregas is as well. And as Liverpool's players will know, these are the sort of games that they need to get them ready. We're only a week away from the new season, and these players, led by Virgil van Dijk, out there now onto the Anfield surface, will want to put up one more big display, won't they, ahead of the new season?
Yeah, you know, ultimately, it's about being ready for the Premier League season. People will look at results. People may even look at that result against Monaco and think they'll be disappointed, but it's all about preparing, doing what's right individually as a player to make sure that come that first game of the season, you've done enough to be in the starting lineup and you're ready for a long season. And this is 1 week out now from the season start, and the players are getting that little bit closer. I think what's important to remember as well, Brad, is because of the World Cup, they're all at different stages. You know, you're looking at some of the players out there, and this is a really strong lineup. It really is for Liverpool. You know, the likes of Szoboszlai and Frimpong and Rio Engamoa, they've played a lot more minutes than a number of the players out there. Last couple of games have been really excited by Wirtz and Isak, but this is only their third game of pre-season. Van Dijk's only had one, Gakpo there in picture, he's only had one. But I think the big name which everybody's looking forward to seeing, and there's some big names out there, is the new signing, Xhaka.
Yeah, Jeremy Jacquet's first involvement this afternoon, and he's got a bit of a target man to deal with in the Como side. They're not a team that you would say is full of household names, but they've got a lot of players that have worked really well together and done really well for Como over the last couple of seasons. They've recruited well in the off-season as well. Trevor Chalobah, for a big amount of money, has come in from Chelsea. He's been their big signing so far. But up front, they've got Tassos Dovikas, the Greek international, who's got more than a goal in him. Nico Paz, the young Argentine, who is one of the hottest properties in world football as well. He's only on the bench as well, but I'm certain we'll see him at some stage this afternoon.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking for familiar names. You mentioned there about Paz. He had a really good season for his involvement and contribution to why Como are in the Champions League this season. And there's other names. I looked at Morata. Morata was involved in the game earlier on today. I was hoping he'd start because he's such an experienced striker. He has that quality. He scored famously in the game for Atletico here, if you remember, just before the COVID time when we got knocked out of the Champions League. There's not too many names, I'll be honest, that I'm that familiar with. You know, obviously, the Italian football, I'm not a big admirer of the football over there, but you know, the likes of Chalobah, he's gone over there, he's been at Chelsea, he was in the England squad, of course, but he fancies that challenge over there with Fabregas in Serie A.
And in Martin Baturina, of course, they have a player who scored against England for Croatia in the World Cup just gone in the summer. The only thing we're complaining about is where's the sun gone? It was 30 degrees a few days ago. It's certainly not that today, but we're looking forward to this one this afternoon at Anfield.
Oh, yes, you join us back here pitch side where Dominik Szoboszlai and Milos Kerkez are just warming up behind us, and we've been laughing because I have to say you're taken away, blown away by Dominik Szoboszlai's aftershave. He smells
Seriously,
wonderful this
Rebecca.
afternoon.
Hey, $1 million. It smells $1 million.
This is a sports programme.
Yeah.
It is, but you know, may I just say it was Jason who pointed out and not myself,
He's already
so I have
got
to
man of the
agree.
match. He's already got man of the match just
I'm
for
going
the
to have
way he
to call
smells.
him over and ask him what he's
$1
wearing.
million. I want to know what he's wearing.
Absolutely top. I think Virgil's coming over now to maybe see the crowds in the Kop. They're just behind us at the moment, but we were just speaking there. I was just going to say it firstly. Isn't it wonderful? Because we're sat here in front of the Kop and it is an entirely different crowd that come to these pre-season games compared to your normal Premier League game, Tomo. It's like so many kids, families, it's just brilliant.
It's like a Legends game. You can hear, when you hear all the excitement and the players coming out, it is like one of the Legends games. You can hear
it's really nice.
Higher pitched voices, but it's lovely because it is about the younger generation who can't get a lot of the tickets for the Premier League games. So to see them all here, the excitement when you're outside, you're having a picture saying, this is my son, this is my daughter's first game. You can see the kids like that thinking, who's he?
Really,
but that's another story.
You know what though, Tomo? I mean, 40 years ago, I came to my first game as a youngster, and you remember these moments, and they bring you back. But they also like set the dream alight. It's like they all want to play on this pitch. You know, they've all come to see the heroes. For me, it was like Kenny. That was the team. And it's an amazing experience, but like Tomo said, it's vitally important we keep the younger generation and we move forward with the younger generation. It's very difficult them getting tickets, but you know, the fans are what it's all about.
It is, absolutely. Really, really lovely atmosphere inside Anfield this afternoon. Let's have a quick word on the opposition. We just saw Bradders and Neil deliver the team there, but Como, Tomo, have been on quite the journey in recent years. They've just come back 2 seasons ago to Serie A after 20 years away. Last season, they get 4th spot in Serie A, their highest ever finish. And they're now in the Champions League as well. What a ride their fans have been on.
It is. It's a great story, isn't it? But have you seen the people who own the club?
I have, yeah.
They're worth £80 billion.
I think it's got something to do with it, yeah.
The richest club in Italy, which is quite something when you think of Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus. Juventus will always be the best supported club. But for Como, that rise, obviously it's nice to have a bit of backing. But Cesc Fabregas has done a wonderful job. They're a very, very good club. This will be a tough game, by the way. These are not just an obscure team in Italy. these are a decent outfit.
Let's speak about Cesc Fabregas, because it's maybe not hard, Jace, to see why he decided to stay at Como for quite a few years. Obviously joined in 2022 as a player and decided to stay on as manager. It looks quite a nice life there, but he's got a really nice setup as well. And 39 years old, you would imagine that the next couple of years he's going to be a really sought-after head coach.
Extremely glamorous setup, Como, and they've tapped in. You know, their strategy is fantastic. They've tapped into the tourist market. They've tapped into where they're located in Italy. They've tapped into the entertainment world. It's a bit like a more glamorous story than what Wrexham.
It's like Monaco as well as Monaco and Wrexham all in the one. My goodness.
You know, it has got shades of what Wrexham have done, you know, back to back to back. But obviously they've moved into Serie A. They've gone back to back to back to back. Moved into Serie A. They've now got Champions League, so they are ahead of Wrexham, and it's a similar model where they're trying to bring the entertainment value. You see Wrexham with Netflix. They've got the backing of the two Hollywood owners. There's money there. It's a bit similar what these guys have done at Como, but they put in place a manager that has played at the top. He's a young manager with great ideas. They bought into it. They step by step have planned their way.
They've not gone too heavy with bringing all the big superstars in.
No, they haven't thrown money at it.
That's what I'm saying. But you look at it, it's been very well thought out.
Yes, the strategy.
Rather than just throw the money, bring the big players, give them money, and they haven't got the heart for it.
No, the strategy's been amazing. You know, Natalie Portman you'll see her at the games. They tap into that area. Commercially, very, very strong. The commercial partners have moved with them through the years. And it's a very, very attractive place to go, not just for the football, but obviously the lifestyle as well, as you were alluding to. What a place to live. No wonder Cesc is still there.
It's a shame this isn't an away game.
I was going to say, I'm gutted we're not playing away.
Absolutely perfect. Right, there is around about half an hour until kick-off here at Anfield. Plenty of time still for anyone who has not yet signed up to All Red Video or LFC TV to subscribe and watch this game live. You can do so right now at video.liverpoolfc.com. And that is where you can also watch the full interview with our brand new signing, Ronald Araújo. Here is a snippet of what he had to say after joining the Reds.
Bueno, muy feliz, muy emocionado de llegar a este gran club con mucha historia y nada, con mucha motivación de poder ya estar con mis compañeros, entrenar, estar en la cancha en Anfield y poder disfrutar.
You've spoken to the coach already. How did that conversation go, and what does he expect from you this season?
Bueno, el míster ha sido muy sincero, me gustó muchísimo la charla que tuvimos, fue muy sincero, muy directo. Él me conoce bien, sabe lo que puedo aportar al equipo, al grupo, no solo adentro de la cancha, sino también afuera, sumar. Y nada, no hubo dudas después de que hablé con él, después que hablé con el director también deportivo. Tomé la decisión porque no tenía dudas de que estaba llegando a este gran club.
And as a centre-back, the chance to play with Virgil van Dijk must be one you're really looking forward to?
Sin dudas. Sabemos lo que es Virgil, el jugador que es, obviamente que es un referente para mí y bueno, ojalá que podamos estar compartiendo dentro de la cancha, poder disfrutar, poder aprender de él. Sé que voy a aprender mucho a su lado con su experiencia y estoy convencido de eso, que con trabajo podemos lograr muchas cosas para este club.
Yeah, the thoughts of Ronald Araújo, who joined the Reds this week. Tomo, we needed somebody with experience. He's 27 years old, but he brings bags of experience and obviously is used to winning trophies as well. Really good in the air, can slot in it right back too. Seems to be a signing that ticks a lot of boxes.
There's a lot of stuff, sort of, why has he come here to Liverpool? We're still a massive football club, as you've seen what's just happened in midweek. This guy's looking at Liverpool as though, I think he's, to get a club captain of Barcelona, when it says club captain, so you do, sets the mind wandering. I think it could be a great signing. He's a size, by the way, which we need size after having Canate here. Hopefully this will be an upgrade on Ibu, and I think it's a good, astute signing. but he has to produce the goods.
Yeah, he's got a real physical presence. He's great in the duels on the ground and in the air. You don't always get both as a combo.
He's around 6'3", 6'4", probably your traditional centre half. Kicks it, boots it, likes a scrap. Uruguayan, South American. He'll have a decent temperament about him. Good in the dressing room. He's faced his problems. I think that's fair to say. I think that's out there. Had a real tough time at Barcelona. Certainly the Paris game, you know, where he took a lot of criticism for his sending off. He found that very difficult to deal with. But bags of experience, international level. He's won things at Barcelona. He's captained Barcelona. Could be a stroke of genius. Could be a stroke of genius by the recruitment team to bring him in, to relight his career. He will play alongside Virgil van Dijk, so he'll be protected. He's at this unbelievable football club where he'll feel the love. And if he delivers, he could become iconic. He could become iconic. He's got everything about him to be the next great centre-half. He has
had his tough times, but I suppose as well, a fresh start sometimes can really make all the difference when you come to a new club, and he will be itching for minutes, and this is a perfect chance for him to turn the page on a new chapter.
Exactly, and he's lost his place in the Uruguayan team as well. That'll be difficult for him. So there was a lot of problems surrounding him off the pitch and on the pitch. But coming here to Liverpool, who, listen, 2 seasons ago, we're Premier League champions. We've been on an unbelievable run. This football club, the foundations are solid. Great people, great supporters. Got some great players around him. And like you say, a change of environment could just be what he needs.
That situation, Tomo, as well, where he can slot in at right back if needed. Obviously, his preferred position is centre-back, but he is an option there. And that was a difficult spot for Liverpool many times last season. So that is a real bonus to it.
Well, we'll see what he's got. See whether he's comfortable on the ball. Because as we've seen our right backs that we want and have, needs to have good possession, needs to sort of get up there, deliver a good ball into the box, can see a pass. But that's what, let's see if we can do that. His size helps. When you see what happened in games nowadays, long throws are being done, corner kicks, you need dominant figures in the centre of your box to be able to control that. Might sound sort of, it just brought, it is a big part now. And he's a size, and it can be, as he says, as Jay just said, he could rejuvenate himself here. If you start feeling the love of the fans, I tell you what, it's a brilliant place to play.
It's a great point Tomo makes. If I was being critical of Liverpool's recruitment last season, it would be the lack of physicality, the lack of height that came in. Listen, they were handpicked, they were players on a slot wanted. But for me, as soon as they run out, and certainly at Preston in that first preseason, I just remember thinking, whoa, there's not a lot of height here we've signed, not a lot of physicality. And I think through the season, I think that was quite evident. I think Tomo's right. Set pieces are crucial now. They're a real serious weapon again. It's like it's gone full circle. He will play his part there. But that physicality, that just aggressiveness that we lacked last season, I think he will bring that.
It's not rocket science. With all the stats that get thrown about now, the set pieces that we were getting sort of conceding goals from, it's unacceptable. We have to be better than that.
Well, we know we will definitely see Ronald Araújo in the second half because Andoni Iraola has confirmed he will play the second 45 and Jeremy Jacquet will play the first, Jace. I mean, Jeremy Jacquet, as we touched on earlier, will have been frustrated, I suppose, that he's not been able to get any minutes before now. And you imagine chomping at the bit, ready to go, albeit the club have had to be sensible with him.
Yeah, I asked about, because obviously we took his signature 5 months ago, wasn't it? But I asked about, you know, and I've got some friends in France who watch French football, and they described him as a bit of a cross between Blanc and Marcel Desailly, which is, I mean, you can't get any bigger.
Words.
I know, yeah, them two won the World Cup.
Wow.
But that's, I know, that's the potential he could have. They're the players that were.
You're putting the pressure on him here.
I know, but he comes with big expectations, and you know, when you say like, what's he like? They would say he's got a touch of Marcel and he's got a touch of Blanc. So that's what I go with.
It's hard for the boy, isn't it? Because he's not had any games in pre-season. No. So we will have to be he's starting this game. We have to be patient because this is his first game. Yeah. So we have to see how he goes. Hopefully he does show that. And he's got the trainers that I don't think he will play anywhere near more than 45 minutes because it would be very, very dangerous to play him any longer.
Do you know the worry for me though, Bex? We've got Jacquet and Araújo. Araújo has come from Barcelona. He's played in big games. Barcelona is a massive football club, as big as Liverpool. You know, he's suited to that environment. He's been in that environment. You could throw him in Manchester United away. He'd be used to it. Xhaka, I just get a little bit worried. First season from the French league, young. Can you cope with that pressure? And I'm always looking at the new players going, can you cope with that? You know, there are players who haven't. I don't think Vert's sort of caught up. Like, he's catching up now, but I thought he was a slow starter. Frimpong was a slow starter. I just think, I don't know which way it's going to go. I don't know who's going to be the preferred centre-half. It could be either of them. They could mix it up.
He does bring physicality again, Tomo. When you look at his stats, he had the most aerial duel success rate across all the big 5 leagues in Europe last season, and that includes Virgil van Dijk, of course.
Good stats.
It is good stuff.
Well, and that is important, as though we can mock stats and what they bring. You know, I like to, my ears about players, just sort of listen and see and what people say about them. But if you've got that sort of stats aerial duels, as we seen last season when the very first game, it was Kwanzaa wasn't winning his duels and he got bombed. A lot of coaches look at these stats very much. If you've got those great stats, it means he should be very good in the air. Another one, as we said, against set pieces in this Premier League.
Let's speak about the role that Virgil has to play with the likes of Jeremy Xhaka and also Giovanni Leone and bringing them up to the speed of the Premier League, if you like, because his experience has been vital ever since he joined the club, Jace. But this season, especially so, the likes of Andy Robertson, Mo Salah have left, so an even bigger voice than he already was.
Extremely disappointing season, I think, for Virgil personally, collectively as well last season. And I think he took a lot of criticism based on how the team was playing. You know, if we conceded, he kind of, you know, his name would come into the equation, and the leadership qualities, he got called out as well. Very difficult to handle that, and it's probably alien to him because he's probably not used to it, because he's had probably the best 7 years of his career. But this season he's going to take on a different role. Expectations are lower. I think he's got to take on the mantle of being kind of the alpha leader in the dressing room. He's got to take that on now. He's got to bring players through. He's got to talk.
I get that, Jake. So I think there's mitigating circumstances last year. Never ever a settled back four. Never ever. Goalkeeper was never ever settled. And you need that when you're being a centre back as I can be. Yes, there was criticism. Yes, maybe he didn't. But there's so much was going on around him. When he
was unfair at times, Tomo.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
He was the one who was the most ever present in that game. I think he might have started every Premier League game. But it's the voice, not necessarily the ability. He's going to have to rule that back line. He's going to have to rule that dressing room. His standard slip, both on and off the pitch. He's got to come down heavy. And I think that's a little area, particularly off the pitch, where we may have lacked of late.
I don't think there's as many egos now in the dressing room as what we maybe had last season. And I think that will be easier for Virgil to handle. I do. I just think it's a big season for Virgil.
Yes, talking through everything there with Jeremy Xhaka. Right, for anyone just tuning in here at Anfield, you can watch this evening's game live online on the club app and as well via connected TV with All Red Video, which is currently running a 2-week free trial. It is, of course, also live on LFC TV. Now, for anyone who is not already a subscriber, you can sign up right now, video.liverpoolfc.com. Now, something else available for All Red Video and LFC TV subscribers right now is the latest episode of our Day With series featuring Rio Engamoa. This one, he recently sat down with Susanna Fuller in Chicago.
Does it kind of blow your mind the way that the club, the city, just have totally embraced you in your time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like I'm Scouts now, basically.
You are?
Yeah, like
honorary Scouts.
Like at Anfield, especially like when they sing my name, it's nothing. Like it's every kid's dream really to have your own chant. And I think the way they celebrate the team as well. Like when we win, it's the best. It feels like the best club, and there's no better feeling.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, do give it a watch, a day with Rio and Gamoa if you haven't already seen it. And we can hear more from Rio right now. Peter caught up with him a little bit earlier on.
Rio, what do they need and what do you need as a team today, do you think, from this final pre-season game?
I think a very good performance. I think what the coaches and what the players want is to give 100% and just to show the fans and everyone else that's watching that we're ready to compete. So yeah, I think today just hoping for a great performance really.
And how do you feel? How does it feel after 40 odd days of pre-season? Do you feel almost ready physically now?
Yeah, definitely. I think I can speak for myself and all the team that the training's been tough and it's been good and it's getting us physically ready for the games and stuff. So yeah, everyone's physically ready.
And mentally as well, there's another side to it, isn't there? A new idea, a new manager. Do you feel that's lodged with the boys now as to what he wants from you each game?
Yeah, definitely. I think in training as well, they're getting the coaches and the manager, they're all getting their tactics and ideas across everyone, and I think it's very good, and I think everyone's learning, and I think now the last game is just to put everything together and the final pieces to connect. So yeah.
And just finally, you can't wait, can you?
Yeah,
a year on from the breakthrough.
Yeah, definitely. Today, it's going to be a good game. I feel confident, and I just want to put on a show and help the team out as much as I can.
Good luck, mate.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, last year was, of course, his breakthrough season. You would imagine we will see much, much more of Rio and Gamoa this campaign, Tomo.
Becky, he's putting himself in the position now is, I should be starting these games. And that's what you do as a young player. You get to a point where you think, I'm just back up. But then all of a sudden you're going, no, I need to be playing now more regular. He needed to build up his fitness. He's doing that. He's had a good pre-season behind him. I'm looking to see him at 80 minutes in a game because he gets people off the seats. He knows he can be exciting. He's still got to have a better end product, but he's still 17 years of age. Well, what a bright prospect. I hope we see more of him as a starter.
Yeah, he turns 18 at the end of this month, Jace, but there is still that battle that you have to protect him. People would say if he's good enough, he's old enough, but still in terms of making sure he doesn't get too many minutes for that young an age, you have to still have a protection factor, don't you?
Exactly. I mean, he's fantastic on the ball. He's so exciting. He gets bums off seats, doesn't he? He's great to watch, easy on the eye. But that's not what football's all about. It's about when you don't have the ball, not switching off, doing the hard yards, getting back. I'm not saying he doesn't do it. Sometimes he's got to be a little bit better at doing it. I think he'll be managed. I think he deserves more game time than what we've seen last season. I think he will get more game time. He can be a game changer from the bench, but I think he will start a lot more than most will think. It's an area of the pitch now where he fought out last season with Cody Gakpo. I think it's a bigger challenge for Cody to keep him out the team. But like I keep saying, it's a World Cup year. Cody's been to World Cup. Rio and Gamoa, he's young, he's fresh, he's got an appetite to be on the pitch. Yeah, he's going to push Cody. He's going to push him all the way this season.
Yeah, he'll start on the right this afternoon, Tomo, and he's got that versatility, hasn't he? Which the boss, Sandodi's spoken quite openly about how his wingers need to be able to be versatile and switch sides, and Rio is perfect.
It's not a bad way, is it? No, the pigeonholing somebody that they can only play, because I'm a right footer, I can only play on the left, because I like to come inside there. Test them, give them the opportunities of going, no, here you go, you can play on the right, you're right-footed, go that side, but come inside if they're thinking, oh, he's too quick going down now, cut inside and try your left foot, try that swinger at it. So they do have to make changes, and I'm glad that he's starting and not just, oh, he's a left-sided player and Cody Gakpo's out there.
As a defender, he's your nightmare, isn't he? You have no idea what he's going to do next, and that's so tricky.
Yeah, he's got quick movements, isn't he? His burst of pace is exciting. But like Tomo said, when you've got a winger who can go outside, inside, it asks a lot of questions. You want to be able to let certainly a full-back, you want him not to know what you're going to do. You put him on the back foot, you're trying to square him up. Is he, do you want to show him inside, and then he's going to go outside? So yeah, he's got a lot of tools in his armoury to frighten fullbacks.
All right, very quickly, Tomo, almost out of time. What are you hoping to see this afternoon?
What I'm hoping to see us be more game management. Certainly, if we go ahead, making sure that we do control the game, because we've lost control in these last 2 games.
Okay, thanks both. We are only 10 minutes away from kick-off now here at Anfield pitchside. You can, of course, watch the whole game live online on the club app and via connected TV too with All Red Video. Currently running a 2-week free trial, and of course, as always, on LFC TV with Preseason. For anyone who isn't already a subscriber, sign up right now, video.liverpoolfc.com. Tomo, Jason and myself are taking our seats. We're handing you over to our match commentary team of Neil Mellor and first, John Bradley.